is everything to the power of 0 equal to 1? Some people might say, good question. I have asked myself that back in 6th grade when I first learned multiplying numbers by themselves. Or maybe you'd say, that's not true. 0 to the power of 0 is undefined. Whatever you think. I'm gonna explain why everything to the power of 0 is equal to 1. So, excluding 0 to the power of 0, I'm not gonna explain that. The way I like to explain why everything to the power of 0 is equal to 1 is not to say it's defined like that. Somebody said it's like that and because we needed to say it's equal to something. No, there's actually a very valid reason why it's equal to 1, and there is a simple way to get to this conclusion. Now, I want you to think about it yourself, and maybe even if you're you're studying math, or you like to think about math stuff, I really like you to think about it yourself. How would you explain a 10-year-old, 11-year-old kid that just learned about multiplying numbers by themselves, and their teachers told them everything to the power of 0 is equal to 1. How would you explain that kid why it's equal to 1? It's a very good exercise to think about, and it's gonna deepen your understanding of math, and you're gonna feel real great when you figure it out by yourselves. But if you don't want to do that, here is my explanation. So, how do powers work? Let's say we have 3 to the power of 3. How does it work? Well, we have the number 3 and we multiply it 3 times by itself. So 3 times 3 times 3 is equal to 27. 3 times 3 is 9, times 3 is 27. Now, what's 3 to the power of 4? Well, it's 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. So it's 9, 27, and 27 times 3 is 81. Now, what did it take to get from 3 to the power of 3 to 3 to the power of 4? Well, the difference between those two things is we had 3 to the power of 3 is 27, and then we multiplied it by 3 and we got 81. And the 1 3 we multiplied, we added to the multiplication, it's represented as the 4. Before we had 3 3's, and with 3 to the power of 4 we have 4 3's. Alright, now the question is, how would I get from 3 to the power of 4 back to 3 to the power of 3? So I have 81 and I want to get back to 27. Well, it's the exact same step we did before, but just backwards. And what's the backwards part of a multiplication? Well, it's the division. So this time we're taking 81 and we divide it by 3. What does it give us? 27. So by taking away one of those multiplications, we decreased the number. We went from 4 to 3 and we got 27. Now, how do we get from 3 to the power of 3 to 3 to the power of 2? We do the exact same step. We divide it by 3. We take one multiplication times 3 away. So 27 divided by 3 is equal to 9. Now, how do we get from 3 to the power of 2 to 3 to the power of 1? You might see where I'm getting at. We take 3 to the power of, we have 3 to the power of 2, so 3 times 3 equals to 9. And we divide it by 3 to get rid of one of those 3. Now, 9 divided by 3 is equal to 3. So now we have 3 to the power of 1. How do we get from 3 to the power of 1 to 3 to the power of 0? The exact same step. We divide it by 3. Now we have 3 to the power of 1 and we divide it by 3 is equal to 1. So now we have 3 to the power of 0 is equal to 1. Now, the nice part is, what happens if we continue this pattern? 3 to the power of minus 1. You might have learned in school that 3 to the power of minus something is equal to saying 1 divided by 3 to the power of that something. Now, how would that look like? We have 3 to the power of 0 is equal to 1, and we want to subtract one more, so we have 3 to the power of minus 1. And the way we do this is, again, we divide by 3. So now we have 1 divided by 3. And if we continue this, and we want to have 3 to the power of negative 2, then we divide by 3 again. Now we have 1/3 divided by 1/3. And 1/3 over 1/3 is the same as 1/9. And if we continue to take 3 to the power of negative 3, now we're at 1/3 of 1/3 of 1/3, which is 1/27. And 3 to the power of negative 4 would be 1/81. And you can do this with every single number, and because you'll always end up at the step of something to the power of 1, and then you want to get to something to the power of 0, and the way you're going to do this is you're gonna have the value something, and you have to divide it by the value of something again, which is always going to equal to 1. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed my explanation. I just noticed it got a little long. It's about 9.5 minutes. I hope in the future I'm gonna get better at what I'm trying to say, and gonna just gonna take less time saying what is in my head, because I do know what I just explained to you could have been a 3-minute video. That's where I'm trying to get it, and this is the exact reason I'm making those videos. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and goodbye.